I think all strategies work, but it has to work for your situation. And so, for example, if we're working with a medical professional that is based in California, and this is a real example, and they want to manage it themselves, but they don't have any time, right? We recommend long-term. You should probably go after a small multifamily, like a triplex, quadplex, to where, okay, once you set them up and once you get the tenants going for like 30 or 60 days, it's set it and forget it. They don't want to be bothered unless there's an issue, and it's few and far between, right? But if you're somebody who is, maybe you're going to go do a house hack and you want to maximize as much income as you can make and you're good with being hands-on, Airbnb. Why not go with the short-term rental on the side, have the maximum income come in, and be able to learn that while you're right next to it?
Welcome to the Real Estate Mogul M.D. podcast. Thanks for tuning in and taking control of your financial future. This is a show where we not only motivate and inspire, we give you actionable, real-world experience to help you live life by design. You'll hear journeys and stories from other physicians, investors, coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs. And now, here's your host, Brett Riggins. What if you could replace your 9-to-5 with real estate and design your ideal day instead? Today's guest, Niyi Adewole, did just that, scaling from a house hack to 40-plus units across multiple states. Let's break down how he made this happen. Here we go. All right, here we go, man. We've got the mics tuned in, and it sounds good. Our radio voices are ready. I hope the listeners are ready. Niyi, welcome to the show, man. How does it feel to be Niyi today?
Brett, it feels amazing, and I appreciate the warm welcome.
Yes, absolutely. And before we get started here, I have so many questions, and what's so cool. So in the podcast world, we get what's called these one sheets, and one sheet's basically like the production team, the marketing, booking teams, all this, conversion of the person to the guest to the host, all of this. Long story short, I see a few things on your one sheet that I love, and I'm excited to talk about and learn more about. But before we get there, who is Niyi? What do you do? What's your professional background?
Man, so who is Niyi? That's a question that we're defining every day. But
yeah.
As a professional, I'm an investor-friendly realtor. I wasn't always that. I used to be in medical device sales for about 7 years. And during that time, I discovered real estate and started investing, found a passion for it, and started planning my escape from the W-2 to move into full-time real estate. And we have accomplished that here in 2025.
Nice. Well, congratulations. So you were sales and W-2. You weren't like commission based, or how does that work?
So I was W-2 in sales. And when you talk about sales in general, you want to try to get into the tech world, right? If you want to be in a corporate, or you want to get into the medical world. Those are the ones that pay the most. So I was in medical device sales where I had a base, I had a car, all the things, and I had commission coming in as well. And I kept using that to invest in real estate. And I made the jump in 2022 from that W-2 world over to full-time real estate as, an investor and realtor.
That's awesome. And the world of medical sales, I know there's some big time salespeople in that world because you sell some high ticket products to some big companies. So very interesting. Let's not go down that rabbit hole. I heard the words real estate in there, and I think it's the reticular activating system inside of your brain. Like when you're sitting in a restaurant and you hear somebody say your name 4 or 5 tables away, like your brain keys in and shuts off everything else and keys in on the. That's what happens when I hear real estate. So let's go back to about 2016. What's going on in your life when you bought that first triplex?
Man, so 2016 was an incredible year to be able to get that first one. And before that, probably similar to a lot of your listeners, I started listening to Bigger Pockets podcast, right? So I started listening to that for about a year before I built up the funds to go get that first property. And I knew I wanted to go and try a house hack. I had read about it. I had listened to all the podcasts and the things. And I said, you know what? It's time to pull the trigger and at least just try this thing out to see if it works. And so I was able to buy a triplex in Louisville, Kentucky, which I lived there at the time. I put down $5,000, which is everything I had saved, and got a $190,000 triplex, lived in one unit, rented the other 2 out. And I essentially was able to go from paying $1,200 a month to live in a pretty cool place to living for free. And so that was the first deal that I did.
Man. And that takes me back to the first moment, like where I realized, wait, how does this work? This, and then they pay me, and then what in the world? Instead of paying rent. Yes. So that's beautiful. The house hack piece. What a wonderful place to start. What was the biggest mindset shift that pushed you from corporate to investing?
It happened with something at corporate, actually. So I was blessed to be a part of a program where I got to get training and learn about all the different divisions within the corporation. And the first station I had was Louisville, Kentucky. And in Louisville, I was taking over for somebody that had just retired. This guy was like in his 60s. He'd worked 30, 40 years of his life and retired. And all he wanted to do was go build a house in Destin, Florida, and retire and hang out with his family. Unfortunately, 6 months into that retirement, he had a stroke.
Oh, no.
He's thankfully alive today, but it did impair a good portion of his motor skills to where he can't drive if he wants to, or do half the things that he'd been waiting all his life to do for retirement. And so a switch flipped in my head at that time. I didn't necessarily think, hey, I need to escape the W-2, but I said, I need to have some funds on the side that can pay me even when I'm not working, so I can take some time to go enjoy the things and cross stuff off the bucket list now, not later. And so that was what kind of drove me towards some type of investment. Now I found real estate by Googling and finding the podcast and kind of listening to that and getting a passion for it. But that's how I came to know it.
Interesting. In that moment of retiring, I mean, so many people go through that where you spend your whole life chasing after something, and then you finally get there and you realize it doesn't even matter, right? We've worked so long, we've put so many things off, and now we can't even do it. So living in the moment, for the moment, enjoying the process, so important. Finding a way to separate your time and your money. Now, this is something that's very well put in a couple of these things that stood out to me in your one sheet that I was mentioning earlier. You've got a couple of books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Richest Man in Babylon. I mean, those two alone are monsters in my library as well. How did these books practically shape your decisions early on?
Man, so let's start with Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This is like the real estate investor's Bible, we'll call it, right?
Yeah.
So when I read that book the first time, it was early in college. And so it kind of started to shape that mindset of, hey, like you can do some type of investment and build this piece up. Now, the thing that it didn't do is it did not tell you how to actually go invest in real estate. It gets you like all hyped up and excited about it, but you don't actually know the next step by step. And so it kind of just sat in the back of my mind while I was finishing school and getting ready to get into the workforce. Fast forward to when I actually got back into the workforce, I reread the book, started Googling, and that's what helped me find the podcast that had the step-by-step instructions. And now I was able to put the two together and go accomplish that. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I think is incredible from a mindset standpoint to let you know, like, hey, you need to build assets, not liabilities, and use the assets to buy liabilities. That was one. And then Richest Man in Babylon, I think this book was written like in the 1900s, and it was written as if it was written way back in the day, and it could be on tablets. It literally could. And the lessons that are in that book are timeless. You could read it today to try to figure out your own home budget, and it still applies. Hey, you should take X amount of what you earn and put it aside and pay yourself. And it goes back to what I was talking about with the individual that retired, right? You need to put away funds somehow, some way, and our vocation is real estate, to where it's going to pay you when you start to reach old age and don't have the ability or the want to go out there and go continue earning. And so that was the whole piece that helped bring it home for me. And like, hey, investing super important to do now while you have the energy, while you're excited about it, so that down the road it can pay you as well.
Yeah, like even step one of understanding what's a liability and what's an asset. I mean, that's huge. What's putting cash in my pocket? What's taking cash out of my pocket? That's huge. That's a big piece. Knowing where and how to get to those points, I think is a great way of breaking that down, looking for the specifics then of, hey, how can I do this? This makes sense to me. How can I do this? Yeah, and so many of these books too, this is not new stuff that we're doing, Niyi. It's just like, I didn't create this stuff. That's why sometimes I feel like I get the imposter syndrome when I'm sitting around talking about something like, I didn't figure this stuff out, right? This is not me. This is not new stuff. It's all about who you surround yourself with, what kind of information you let into your eyes, let information you let into your ears. And it's fascinating when I drive down, like especially first thing in the morning, and I hear some radio. Don't get me wrong, I got a guitar hanging. I love music. But I hear some radio blaring this music and it's negative. And I'm just thinking, man, the things that are going into that person's ears versus what's going in mine, whether it's I'm listening to an Audible or Christian music, something, some uplifting thing, how that's preparing me, how that's preparing my mind is so crucial.
Brett, you're spot on. I literally, it's funny because I just had that epiphany a couple of years ago that I don't actually listen to music much anymore when I'm driving, but it took time to get to that point. Like I played football in college, and me and my teammates, all we listened to was, what was around us, right? We were up in Philly. This is around the time that Meek Mill was getting big. And so we had that blaring, and now fast forward to today, it's all podcasts and books. And you're right. You can use that commute time to actually, empower, uplift, and learn.
Yeah. What do they call it? Windshield University, I think.
Come on now. That's it.
Man, the first year. So when we started flipping houses, we were doing 6 at a time, and there were, I was doing 2 different counties. So I had some windshield time. I was managing all these projects, licensed builder. But when I came down to it, that time away from my family was an investment that I lean back on now, because man, the books that I put away in that time on Audible was crazy. Hey, you scaled 25 plus long-term rentals and 10 short-term rentals. What's your biggest system unlock for managing growth?
Okay. It's funny. We were just talking about books. It's the who, not the how, right? So who, not how. It's trying not to do it all yourself, but seeing, hey, what things can I start to hand off to others to free myself up to do more? And so, for example, when we were scaling that long-term rental portfolio, I bought that first triplex that we talked about. So that was the first 3 units. And then I got promoted and moved into a higher role in the Northeast, thousands of miles away. But I had already developed a connection with my investor-friendly realtor in Louisville, Kentucky. And she kept identifying deals for me, walking them, taking videos to where I could see it and say, hey, I like this, and purchase it. I continued to manage those properties up till about 15 units. And then it was like, hey, between the W-2 and this, I have no time. Like I literally am going to drop the ball somewhere. And so I had to find and delegate to property management to continue to grow. And so that's how we did it. It's by knowing your limits, get close to that limit, but then start to seek help and see how you can get others to help you. Because once I got the property management, that's when I went from, okay, 15 units is a headache, I can't have any more, to, hey, I can grow infinitely because I can just hand it off to them.
Learn, implement, and outsource. I stole that from a book too. What are some underrated or misunderstood elements about running a successful Airbnb portfolio, the short-term side?
Man, a lot of people overlook the design element. This is critical today. Like back in the day, maybe not so much. It was all about just having a place, right? And you could put your old furniture in there and just random items that look kind of quirky. Now you need to have a cohesive design. And I would recommend hiring an actual designer to come in, put that place together so you can deliver an experience. You do not want to get into the game where you are fighting people on price and it's all about, hey, who can have the lowest price? You want to fight them on amenities and an experience, because at that range, now you're in that top 20%. You can charge more, you're making more, and you have a different level of guest that's coming to stay.
Yeah, that's interesting. From my own experience, every time that we have to bidder or barter or talk about price or this or that, can I get this exception? They're the worst guests. They are the worst guests. I do not like it at all. So almost going more towards the hospitality piece, more towards what a hotel looks like, because it's cohesive, right? That's the competition. Now, you've transitioned from Airbnb to direct bookings. Can you walk us through what made that pivot necessary and profitable?
Absolutely. So Airbnb accounted, at least when we first started, for like 80% of our business. That was a huge, overwhelming number. And Airbnb changes their algorithm up probably every month, week. I mean, they let us know every like quarter, but they're probably doing it a lot more before then. And at times they start to err on the side of the guest a lot more than the host, like times like right now. And so you could have something happen at an Airbnb, completely correct it, handle everything, still get a bad review, and then get your listing suspended or delisted or all these other kind of remedies that can happen. And we got tired of that piece happening, especially when it had nothing to do with our property in certain cases. And so the direct was needed, right? So now when you look at our portfolio, we have 10 short-term rentals, but we manage about 30 in total. And so we built a direct site through our partnership with Hospitable, and we have people that are able to go there and book direct, especially after they stayed with us. And so we've lowered the percentage of Airbnb from that 80% a couple years ago down to 60%. And our goal is to get it to about 50%. And then to have all our recurring customers come back through our direct site so we can build that loyalty. They can start to understand our brand and we can market directly to them when we have new stays.
Very cool. What was that website?
Hospitable. It's also a property management system, but they help you build a direct site that you can link your properties to.
That's very cool. Hospitable. I'll have to check that out. How do you coach others in choosing between short-term, mid-term, which is kind of like that 30 plus days, or long-term rental strategies?
It really depends on our client's goals, right? I think all strategies work, but it has to work for your situation. And so, for example, if we're working with a medical professional that is based in California, and this is a real example, and they want to manage it themselves, but they don't have any time, right? We recommend long-term. You should probably go after a small multifamily, like a triplex, quadplex, to where, okay, once you set them up and once you get the tenants going for like 30 or 60 days, it's set it and forget it. They don't want to be bothered unless there's an issue, and it's few and far between, right? But if you're somebody who is, maybe you're going to go do a house hack and you want to maximize as much income as you can make and you're good with being hands-on, Airbnb. Why not go with the short-term rental on the side, have the maximum income come in and be able to learn that while you're right next to it?
Tell me a little bit about your realty team. First of all, the name of it, and why did you build an investor-focused team inside of EXP?
So the name of our team is the Ekabo Home Realty Team, EKABO Realty Team. We work 90% with investors, and we're known as the investor-friendly team within EXP. And the reason we niche down into this focus is because, one, I'm an investor myself, and I'm an investor that benefited from having an investor-friendly realtor. We talked about what happened in Louisville. That realtor that I'm talking about helped me buy 30 units and now sell those 30 units and became a partner on building self-storage from the ground up in Louisville and also working on a townhome project, and is a really, really good friend and partner today. And so when I look at the journey that we had over 7 years of buying and selling those units to get into bigger projects and what we've been able to do, it just made sense to be able to take our experience and help others do the same. Because when you look at a regular retail home buyer, even from a business standpoint, they're going to buy a house maybe once every 5 to 7 years, maybe, right? Whereas an investor, if you're finding deals and those deals are working out for you, you could buy 3-4 houses in that same time period, maybe more. And so it made sense for us to niche down, focus and run the numbers, and help people that are like us trying to reach financial freedom through real estate.
And now you're connected in 30 plus states. So what trends or markets are you watching closely this year in 2025?
Man, so 2025, definitely the scale tipped fully into buyer's market in most of the markets that we're identifying and going after, especially when you look at, one, the metro of Atlanta, Georgia, and the Southeast going into Florida, right? And so there tends to be an overcorrection, right? One way or the other when some news drops. Like during the pandemic, there was an overcorrection into a seller's market to where everything just started moving so quickly. You list something, it's gone in one day, right? You can highest and best all day. And now we've shifted the other way to more of a buyer's market. And so what we're trying to do is line up all of our investors and get them into deals that make sense, getting a heck of a lot of credits, getting interest rate buy downs from the seller to make the numbers work today, knowing that in the future, when the market does come back and kind of neutralize or balance out, they're going to be well positioned to take advantage of that extra equity.
What systems or relationships have been key to scaling across state lines like this?
It's so two things. One, we're heavy into bigger pockets, which has been awesome because that's like our community. That's how I learned most of my real estate stuff before actually getting in and doing it. So that's one. And two, our team members are from all over, which has helped tremendously. We have team members that have moved to Georgia to join our direct team from Texas, from Florida, from all these other spots that we're starting to expand out to. And so it's just going to these conferences, having conversations, vetting people and understanding their skill set and what they have in their portfolio to make sure that they can be a good recommendation partner for any of our investor-friendly clients that are looking to invest outside of Georgia.
Yeah. Real estate is the business of relationships. And that's just a perfect example of expanding your associations. Like Mr. Jim Rohn says, I'm sure you've heard that name before, right?
Yep.
Come on with it. I think I'm still pushing hard for Jim Rohn to be a subject in school. Everybody should know. As the old Zigman says, school. He was from school down here in South Carolina. Anyway, so what does financial freedom actually look like for you today, Niyi?
Man, so financial freedom, the way I define it is if you had to stop working today, could your investments and the money that you have coming in cover your expenses? And if it can, you are financially free. You are also wealthy, right? That's how I judge wealth. It's not by the things that you're wearing. It's not by the car that you drive. It's literally, if you stop working, how long would you last with the savings, with the investments that you have? And so what I'm working on now for my continued growth into financial freedom is building the ideal day. I made it to a director level at the company I was at before. And the next step was going to be VP, and you can continue growing through there. But I started to look at it and the demand on the time that was going to start to come and the travel. And that's not what I wanted in my ideal day. My ideal day is being able to do, a workout in the morning, being able to have real estate conversations, being able to be done by X time every single day to go hang out with the family, being able to travel and do stuff while still having the business run on its own. And so that's what I'm working on, continuing to build toward that ideal day, ideal week, ideal schedule. And it's been fun.
Yeah. The challenge, I think, for me is making sure that you're enjoying the process. Because you and I, we can get down here. And I don't know, we haven't hung out yet. I don't know what your day looks like now. It doesn't mean that you have that day. It means that you're pushing towards it, but enjoying your journey while you get there, because we may lift our head up and realize that, hey, we're that guy looking to build our house in Destin, Florida when we do get there. So enjoying the process. And I say it's difficult because I'll put my head down. I'll put my head down and just bear into it. And I think a lot of the listeners are like that. You may be like that too. But when I do lift my head up, I've got to do it more often, and I've got to do it. I may not be there yet, but I've got to lift my head up and enjoy where I'm at. Man, yesterday in the middle of the day, I went out and sat by the pool, and I'm like, man, it's been too long. I'm pushing hard. I got this lift that I'm doing right now, and it's like just for fun to get the kids in there and doing it. But I've got to lift my head up, and we're so blessed. We're so wealthy, just like the way you described it, man. I'm so blessed, and it gives me goosebumps to even think about that. Hey, just lift your head up. Don't get too focused on it, because the ideal day for me is when I wake up breathing, right? And I have that sense of gratitude in me, and it makes my day. It makes my day better even talking about it, man.
Come on now. And Brett, you are spot on. It's one of those things, just to comment on that. Like, you're right. Most of the listeners and you and I, you can get focused on like, hey, here goes the goal. I need to go get that goal. But then it's always moving. There's going to be another goal after you hit that one. And so one of the things that I've done that's helped tremendously is twofold. One, I have a fun account, right? Where X% of whatever we make goes into this fun account. And I can do whatever with that. Fully clear. Like if I want to go buy something, want to go take a trip, we can do that, right? And it helps. And two, at the beginning of the year, I try to plan out certain trips and add more each year, which is the free time, right? So I got, my brother's trip. I got, our anniversary trip. I've got, this year we did like a baby moon, right? Because we got a baby coming, a bunch of different things. The Christmas trip with the family. We try to get those certain things on the calendar so that you do have those breaks to look up and have fun and really, really take advantage of where we are.
Yeah, intentionality, being intentional. And again, coming back to the Jim Rohn, like planning your year, it's important to put that stuff. And again, I think about that stuff, and sometimes life overwhelms me, overruns me, and I don't get to that. So I commend you for doing that, because if you can plan it, you're going to be able to reach it a lot better. Writing it down on paper is going to be the best way to get to it. So you host a weekly mastermind. What's one theme or recurring issue that comes up often with new investors?
With new investors, it's trying to see the full staircase before taking the first step, right? It's like, hey, how do I move my property into an LLC after I close on it? Listen, first we got to go get you pre-approved and go get the property. Like that LLC movement piece is like, it's pretty easy to do, and that's way down the road. And so it's not taking it one step at a time. And we try to redirect a lot of the individuals that we talk to that most important next step. So if you've already gotten pre-approved, okay, we need to do a buyer consult so we can narrow down on what type of strategy you're going to use. Because you like managing a bunch of flips and things of that nature. Somebody else may like doing long-term or short-term, but we don't want you chasing 8 different things. for your first deal, you need to focus on one so we can be successful there and then grow from there. So literally just taking it one step at a time is something that we reiterate.
Yeah. For the record, I do not like managing a bunch of flips. Let's get that clear. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Man, too many people in the pool. No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, but it is fun to get back in. And, my background is architectural engineering, construction management engineering. And before that was actual residential home builder license. Like, I've learned with my own hands. So it's a beautiful thing to get back there, get the kids back in there. I love it. And a piece there, do you guys ever use DSCR loans to acquire in the LLC, not going personal to the LLC, but acquiring in the LLC?
We do, but we typically reserve those for like bigger projects. Like, for example, we've helped a couple clients get like $1 million mansions that they then turn into short-term rentals because they want to completely be differentiated. And so with those, yes, DSCR within LLC already. But for most of the clients that we're working with, where they're getting their first, second, or third deal and they can still qualify conventionally, it's going to be better that way.
Nice. And what's next for you, personally or professionally, in 2025?
Man, so personally, having a first kid on the way.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We just did the baby shower at the end of May. And so we're excited about our baby on the way. So that's going to be a major focus. Professionally, the team is just continuing to rock and roll. So we just hired officially, we had like we'll call it a year trial while he was still finishing his MBA, but we hired a director of operations, and now we're starting to turn over a lot more of the reins to him so that we can get back to more of that ideal day. Because just like you, I don't like managing, 15, 20 people on the team, right? I like going out and like closing a couple different high level deals and sharing knowledge and things of that nature and driving the vision. But to do the day to day, we have him in place now to help with that piece. And then for the short-term rental side, he's also going to step in to help take over a lot of that communication on the day to day as well with our cleaners, with the owners, and go from there. So that's kind of on the horizon.
If someone listening wants to get started but feels overwhelmed, where should they start?
Man, so I think listening to this podcast is a good start, right? Because it's allowing you to hear other people's stories and how they got started, and then just focus on the next step. If you look at the overall journey, it's very overwhelming. If I'm like, hey, say I wanted to go from where we are right now to 1,000 units, right? That's a lot of units. So overall, it's like, okay, I need to have this property management. I need to have all these construction teams in place. But if I say, hey, I just want to get my next unit or maybe double or triple, that's a lot more attainable. And so I'd say just focus in on that next immediate step that can get you closer to where you want to be. And it helps eliminate some of the worries.
Mm-hmm. Keep stepping, keep moving, keep
taking
action. For sure. Hey, what position did you play?
In football?
Yeah.
So I played at Temple University, go Owls, and I was a linebacker.
Nice. See ball, hit ball in the middle
Come
or on
on
the
now.
outside?
So I came in as an outside linebacker, but my class, and I hope they're not listening to this, but my class was not the sharpest. And so they moved me to the middle to help call the plays. And so I was a middle linebacker.
Yeah, like the quarterback of the defense. They're running the team, and it just converts into the real estate world. And it sounds like you're doing the same thing there. So, hey, awesome stuff. Where can the listeners connect with you, Niyi?
On Instagram, you can catch us at Akabo Home, EKABO Home. And then if you go to akabohome.com, we also have all the info there as well.
Right. The link tree is there with all the spots. Awesome, man. Well, I've enjoyed my time. I know you got another booking coming up. Thank you so much for sharing your time, your knowledge, and your experience here with us on the Real Estate Mogul MD, man. I hope you have the greatest day today. And each step that you take is one step closer to that ideal day.
Come on now. Thank you, Brett.
If you're chasing freedom and not just returns, Niyi just gave us the blueprint. Take the next step, one move at a time, and build the life you actually want. Don't wait. What does your ideal day look like? Have you thought about it?
This episode is powered by Crescent Tech. If you are looking for a CRM built for real estate investors, discover Streamline REI by Crescent Tech. Simplify, automate, close faster.